All right. It should
I
be.
just sent a text to Fee to try to get her on.
It's all right. We can always record it. Okay. So there were 3 questions that were on the post originally. So I will go over some of those, and then if you guys have anything to add or any questions, feel free to ask them. First one was about finishing the month strong. What do you do to finish up the month? And I think there's a lot of stuff. You work with urgency. When you realize you're on a deadline, and really if you start the beginning of your month like this in the future, you won't feel that crunch at the end of the month as much. But magic happens in those last few days because there's something mentally that it does when you realize that you only have a couple days to get this done. So I think sometimes just that little switch in your mind can make a huge difference. But also just get creative with things. The month I went diamond in particular, I had to do $2,000 volume in the last 48 hours or so of the month. And so I just went back and messaged a lot of my older loyal customers who had turned their auto ships off. And I made a package of the month recommendation for them, or some that had perk points that they still had that hadn't expired. I sent them a message saying, hey, I just wanted to make sure you knew that you have, 48 perk points. That's $48 in free product. I'd love to help you get that set up. And you don't necessarily get volume on that, but if they spend $60 of their 48, you're getting that difference. So you can still sometimes add some volume that way. They might get a product for 10 or 15 bucks and you're only getting, $10 in volume, but it's $10 you didn't have before. And if you multiply that by a couple, that makes a big difference. So those were some things I did. And I think sometimes it's really important to just focus on your business. I think a lot of times the end of the month, especially as you start building a team, people start to feel like, oh, I wish people were working. And I'll get into, that's the next question about distributors working. But when you just put your focus on you, if you look at what you have to do, your perspective is so much better than when you think, okay, well, if only I could get this person to sign their second loyal customer or sign a loyal customer, it would help. Or it's easy to get stuck in that trap. When you have to realize that you're working your business, you're not working their business. So you can't make them want something or make them do anything they don't want to do. I think that's really important because you'll start to feel defeated and battle yourself, especially if you're up for a promotion and you're trying to get each leg to 400, and it's really easy to let yourself get into that little bit of a funk the last couple of days of the month where you're like, oh my gosh, if a couple people would just, if each one would just add one loyal customer, they would be there. And you can't think like that. You just focus on your business and work it like you're the only one working on your entire team. And that's what you have to just tunnel vision it. And that's when the magic starts to kick in for the end of the month. I don't know. This is totally different than live with questions, but because I'm used to being able to stop and look through them. But if you have anything you want to add on that or anything that you've noticed that's worked for any of you, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I can move on. I'm not going to put you on the spot and pull you out. But all right. The next question was about, I think it was worded, I'm not looking at it, but when do you give up on a distributor that's not working? First of all, I never look at it like I never give up on anyone, ever. But I work with the ones who want it and the ones who are working. So I don't put my focus or waste a lot of my time and energy on people who just aren't trying or aren't doing it because it will exhaust you. I follow up with them, but I will tell you, unfortunately, probably more than half of the people I have signed in this business have never even signed their first loyal customer. They go into the witness protection program or something, and I never hear from them ever again. And I think that's important to realize, especially as you're starting, because when those first couple happen that way, you're going to start to feel like, what am I doing wrong? At least that's what I felt like. I was like, what? I don't know. I looked at a diamond chart, you know, when I was early on. I was like, okay, I only need 24 people to get to diamond. This will be easy. I can do this. And then I wasn't factoring in for the fact that not everyone's going to get themselves, you know, not everyone's going to go out and talk to people and sign loyal customers. And statistics show that about 20% of distributors are going to work their business. And it's unfortunate, but a lot of people just, they let whatever's going on in their life determine it. They let the first person that tells them no decide their future. You know, whatever it is, they could just have something going on and it may not be the right time. I've had that happen too, where people come back into the business. So that's why I say I never give up on them. But I try to follow up, especially throughout their first 30 days. I follow up, you know, I follow up normally like a day or two after they join, you know, like, have you checked in with have you done your training? Have you, you know, like the basic things, have you done this and this? Or we have your launch party scheduled. Then I give them a couple of days. I follow up again. I just kind of keep doing that. And I'll follow up at least every couple of days throughout that first month, even if I'm not getting a response. If I haven't gotten any, like, zero response in the first 30 days, I'll probably stop there. I might follow up again in a couple months and say, hey, you know, just some encouraging note, like, hey, I still think you do great at this. You know, I'd love to see, you know, really give this a shot. Are you ready to actually, you know, run with it, you know, or whatever. I'll make a quick encouraging comment. And most of the time when I say something like that, I'll get a response back, like, yeah, I'd like to, but, you know, this happened. And sometimes there's big things that happen. You know, maybe someone joined and then all of a sudden their spouse left, or, you know, just they could have had a huge life change. And so I never, ever want to give up on them. They might be too embarrassed to tell me what's really going on in their life because maybe I don't know them all that well. I just pray that they find it within themselves to work it. I keep that line of communication open, even if it's not about business. But I don't constantly spend time and energy reaching out to them and, you know, asking them how they're doing, if they, like, business-wise, how they're doing, or how many loyal customers they have, or if they need anything. You know, I may just every other month or, you know, a couple times a year shoot them a message like, hey, how's it going? How are your kids? You know, something just to kind of keep communication open, but it's got to be on them and they've got to want it, because you will completely exhaust yourself if you're constantly chasing the ones who aren't doing anything. So, yeah.
So do they just stay, they still have their name like in a box and they're just now like a qualified leg out to the side and you're not building with them?
Pretty much.
Is that what you mean?
Okay. Yeah, that's actually the next question. I was kind of falls into this. I think it was Michelle that asked it. She was saying about a distributor that if they're not running their website, their card's declining for things that they haven't responded to you, do you still work with it, or do you still work with them? And I work with them if I need it. If it's a leg, if they're in a spot where I need it, I will move loyal customers under them. And sometimes, I mean, I'll even send them a message and be like, hey, I moved a loyal under you. You know, I hope you might get an email letting you know. Just wanted to give you a heads up. And sometimes they'll respond and be like, oh, thanks. But I don't do that to encourage them. I do that if it's what's most beneficial to me, because ultimately I'm working my business. So if you're looking at, I don't know, say you're looking at a Ruby chart. I don't have one. All I have right here is a blank diamond, but let's just look at the blank Ruby part, right? So say we're looking at this Ruby. Say you have a strong executive leg and you have this box, but this distributor has done absolutely nothing. Say they signed up, they never even got their first loyal customer. You move 2 under them to get your fast start bonus. And then what do you do with it? Well, if you have enough loyals that month, move them and get yourself to Ruby and then replace it. Put another distributor right under them, stack it, and just keep going. You know, that happens a lot. My chart is not neat. I do not have 24 people on my team as a diamond. I had 70 or 80 some when I went diamond because people stop and start and don't quit. I mean, that's just kind of the way it works sometimes. So, and I don't say that to describe it. I don't want anyone to feel discouraged by that, but I want you to realize that if that does happen to you, if you do feel like you're spending and they're not doing anything, that's normal. You're not going to, you don't need to beat yourself up over it. So good time to jump in, Bonnie. How are you?
Good. I just finished dinner.
That's right. You're on weird time. It's only like 6:30. The weird time. Sorry.
Yeah.
6:30 there.
Like literally, our table still has like our plate sitting on it. Like I just finished eating. Sat down. And I was like, oh yeah, live. And it's
live via Zoom because for some reason it wouldn't connect. It just kept like spinning. I couldn't get anyway.
I've been having issues with my internet all day, so.
Well, it's not on my computer, but the phone. I don't know. My phone is being weird, and I can't go live on a computer. So, we were talking about how long you continue going with distributors that don't want it, or that haven't responded to you, or just work it as long as it's beneficial to you. And not. Go ahead. What are you gonna add?
Sorry, I look like a mess as I'm seeing myself. Pam Souter kind of addressed that when she did that call with Krista, which I really liked the way she said it, and it's kind of the way that I do it too. And actually, I have 2 people who recently signed with me who, like, hello, no, I'm not getting anything out of these people. So I continue to follow up for a little while. I make sure that I place the 2 loyals to get my fast start bonus. That's really important to me, getting that bonus, because that was really huge for me when I started. And it's still important to me, and it's still huge. I feel like, that extra $100 makes a big difference. So I always make sure I get my fast start bonus. And I'll still follow up with them some, but if I not hear anything back, like at this point, these girls signed the end of last month, so they both just hit their 1 month like this week, and like I don't think I've heard anything out of either of them for like 2 weeks, I guess. And I'm like, okay, and neither of them have signed a single person. They wouldn't do launch parties, just the whole like thing has been dragging on, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. I'm not going to just write them off completely. I will reach out to them, say, hey, how are you, every so often. When I think about them, hey, just thinking about you, that type of thing. Because sometimes it's just a life thing, like the one lady, she signed and then like 2 days later broke her arm and had to have surgery and stuff. So I feel like that might have been a big part of her, kind of killed her excitement and stuff, because she was all excited and then broke her arm and all these other things going on. So I'm like, well, it might just be bad timing because of all that happened. So I'm going to keep the connection there and keep the relationship there. Make sure that I'm interacting with them on Facebook and reaching out to them here and there, but I'm not going to drag them along saying, you got to sign customers, you got to do a party. You know what I mean? Like just sometimes you have to let kind of the business part aside and kind of let it go and just maybe focus on just the relationship. And you never know, like a year from now, they may be ready. I actually just had a girl, she signed with me last year, and she signed her first couple customers and she did really well. And then she kind of vanished. And then she just messaged me the other day and she's like, I think I want to start up again, and it's been a year now that she hasn't really done much. But you never know. Some other people, life happens, stuff happens unexpectedly, whatever it may be. And people get sidetracked, or they get started and then they get discouraged quickly because they get some negative comments or something. But if you keep that relationship open and keep interacting with them, then when they're ready to jump back in later down the road, then they're going to come back to you. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
I did. Where did it go? So if they cancel their eSuite and aren't doing anything, how long can they be idle before they could start back up? Or like, what does anything happen in there? They like
a year from when they started, unless they renew. They'll have to renew like 1 year from their original start date. So they can, even if their website's off, you can still use that box if you need to use that box, and they could come back. But yeah, once their year is up, they'll have that choice to renew. And I think, is it 60-day grace period before it officially cancels?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So they send you an email like saying it's going to run out if you don't do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If they call, because I've had people too, they call customer service and actually have the account canceled out before their 1 year. They do that. If you get on eSuite and their account says canceled, they have to pay $99 and sign up all over again, just like a brand new distributor.
Okay.
But as long as it doesn't say canceled, then they can renew and keep it active, even if they're not actively working the business, if that makes sense. Like I have some people on my team who, life happened, whatever, and they're like not working the business right now, but they're like, well, but I might get back into it. Just right now is bad for whatever reason. And so they're keeping their account active, like they renewed for the $35, but they're not actually doing anything with the business.
Yeah.
And you're not putting people under them unless you needed to do it for a fast start bonus, but otherwise it doesn't really behoove you to
fast
put
start at
anybody
first, and then I might use boxes.
Them, correct?
Yeah, I might use a box like that if I'm looking at a promotion and I need a qualified leg, but I never ever build distributors underneath somebody who's not actively working the business. I do not place distributors under somebody that's not actively working. And then, yeah, so, and I don't use the box as a qualified leg. It's like a last resort.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if I have one box left on my chart and there's a person there that's not working, but they filled the box, then okay, then I'll put, the customers under them. But I'd rather just sign a new distributor and put the customers under the new distributor and help them get started than who's under an old distributor who's not doing anything. But that goes case by case, kind of depends on your situation.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hey, as a quick side note before we move on, Fee just messaged me and wanted me to tell you guys that she's doing a party right now, so she won't be able to get on.
That's right. I forgot she has Caitlin's launch party tonight. She must still be there. So.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Nice. Awesome.
She just wanted me to let you guys know.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Those were the only questions that people gave me ahead of time. Do you have anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything jumping out? These are the moments in the live where you just sit there and kind of wait, so it's a little different this way. But
do you have any tips for like potentials who just kind of aren't staying in touch? Like I guess closing the deal with people.
Loyal customers or distributors?
In my case, distributors.
Okay.
Because I have a couple people who are like, oh yeah, I'd be interested in that, and I tell them about like that you can pre-sell the reps if the $99 is an issue, which for the people I've been talking to it has been. So I've just been kind of checking in here and there, like, hey, have you found 4 people who want to try the reps yet? And oh, sorry, Felix just woke up.
Okay. Yeah, I basically.
On that note, I'm going to have to be right
Go
back.
ahead. Wait, I'll come back to that when you're back. I don't want to talk about it when you're not listening. That would be mean. Anything else? So, oh, I had something. I had a thought of something I was going to bring up but I didn't write it down. We were at dinner and I was rushing back before I had 2 girls in bed before I started. And on the way back, I was like, oh, I want to talk about this if we have downtime. Of course, I don't remember what it was. Oh, she's back. We're good. Okay. You're okay. All right. So it depends. I will tell you, Bonnie can jump in and tell me if she has a different situation. But I have honestly never had any luck with anyone pre-selling wraps ever. I tell them, like if I've told them it's an option, normally that's kind of like my go-to. If they tell me that they don't have the money, sometimes I'll throw that out there like, well, hey, this is an option. I have never had anyone actually successfully go and pre-sell them. Have you, Bonnie? Maybe it's just me.
I've had a couple interesting scenarios happen with that. One time I had a girl say she wanted the pre-seller wraps. She posted on her personal results because she had tried a wrap. She had great results too. She posted them on Facebook. She pre-sold like 6 wraps in like 2 hours, like crazy fast. And then her husband convinced her not to sign up, and so she never signed up. But I ended up getting customers and stuff and distributors from her posting. So, I mean, it worked out in the long run, but it was a bummer that she didn't, you know what I mean? Because she pre-sold those wraps like crazy, and I knew she could have been really successful. But her husband convinced her that not to do it. The other times that I've been successful with it is with basically doing a launch party without signing them up to do it. And saying just invite some friends to sell some wraps, because I'm like, even if you pre-sell 2 wraps, that means you're only paying $50. You mean, like, it makes it cheaper. And so I've had that work out a couple times where people did a launch party and sold wraps and signed up customers, and then they signed up as a distributor.
I've seen other people saying that they do that. So when you do that, are you telling the potential distributor that you're kind of doing that? Do the other party people know, or that's sort of something you're like at the end, like, hey, by the way, now you have your 99?
I do it both ways.
Okay.
Kind of. So if I have someone interested in the business, but they're kind of on the fence, like they're like, I don't know, I kind of want to do it, but I don't know, you know, whatever. I'll just be like, especially if they're local to me, I'm like, you know what, let's get a few people together. Let's do a little wrap session so you can sample the products, you can learn more about the products, so you can be a lot more comfortable with it. And then once you're more comfortable with it, then you can make a more educated decision on whether or not you want to do it, yes or no. And I've done that and had people afterwards say, you know what, this is not for me. And I've done it and had people be like, yes, let's do this, like, and be super excited about it. And then at the party, we're like, okay, now this is your launch part. Like, so I'll be like, well, we can do it. When I offer that, I'm like, we'll do the little sample session. If you decide to jump in, like before or the night of the sample session, then we'll just turn it into your launch party, and everyone that comes and signs up as customers will be your customers and your distributors. So we'll basically be getting you started the first day you sign up. And I've done that with people and had people sign up and have 4 customers and a distributor like their first day. You know what I mean? Or 4 customers and some potential distributors or whatever their first day. And I've done that, and I've had people be like, yeah, I don't think this is for me, and decide not to do it. But it's fine. I still got a free party. I mean, I still got a party. You know what I mean? I still got lots of customers out of it, and they got a free wrap. So it's a win-win for them. They get a free wrap, or they start off with customers right away. And it's a win-win for me, because I either get a party and get customers and new potentials and stuff, or I get a distributor who already has her own customers, you know, and has already done her launch party right away.
And if those customers go ahead and, you know, you do their online order, as long as that distributor would decide to get on the next 24 hours, so you could move them over to her.
No, you cannot.
Just
no,
like with Mark. Remember, yeah, Trish, remember when you signed Mark and we had that conversation? They had to be after. Their number has to be after. So
okay, so you'd get them.
Has to be entered first.
Okay, so you get the orders on paper. You wouldn't put them in the computer yet.
Exactly. You do paper order forms, and I always do paper order forms. Always. I don't take a computer to my parties. I hand people paper order forms and I say, fill this out. Which one do you want, distributor or local customer? I don't sit down at the computer and do it just because it's the way I've always done it, and it's just easier for me to do it that way. I don't know.
I read a thing about taking the clipboards and like highlighting the top and having them fill it out. Yeah. So
this is a really good time. I bought clipboards. I bought this cute clipboard.
And then it like inspires them to finish it. Whoops, you're freezing. Okay.
I bought these cute clipboards for like $2 at Staples around the beginning of the school year last year or 2 years ago. And I put both order forms and a catalog on them, and I hand them to people. And I'm like, you can go ahead and fill in the top information there while we're getting ready to get started or whatever.
Okay.
I actually do, I had old binders and I just cut them. Like I cut the binder part off so it becomes a little folder. And I've done that. So it's really similar. But this one actually, it's half folded. It was one I just brought home from a launch. Yeah. And I just put my order forms and stuff right in there and steps to success and stuff. So yeah, as long as anything that keeps them contained like that.
Actually, the It Works store has little things like that now that you can just buy from them. Mm-hmm. And you can get a whole bunch.
Like one for all, and then I've got my little folders inside with order forms and like customer information. It's like all and before and afters, product information. I just kind of try to keep everything in like one place so that I'm never unprepared.
Awesome.
Cool. I just printed all the product info sheets this week.
I did that when I started.
Yeah, I had a couple, but I printed them all, and I need to get some. I have a binder. I just need to get the page protector things to put in there.
Hold on. Side note: how was your launch tonight, Bea?
It was good. There will be 2 orders off of it fairly quickly. One has to wait until like Friday or something. And then the other one she's talking about becoming a DT in a couple months. So she's going to start as a loyal customer.
Awesome.
Then she'll switch over.
Sweet. Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just really excited to know. All right. So, but yeah, about following up with that, you were talking about following up with potential distributors. Just keep your line of communication open with them too. Make sure it's not always 100% business. Just be a friend too, and let them see how the business is working in your life. Find ways to just, without saying, oh, you should do this, because just say, I don't know, if it's someone that you work with, you know what I mean? Show them, I don't know, throughout the day, be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know, I got a fast start bonus this week and it did this, or, this, I used my It Works commission to put gas in my car today, or, just find ways in conversation if you're able to talk to them regularly to just get them continually thinking about it. Without them thinking like you're making them think about it. Another thing is just, I don't know, I find new ways to ask. I try to make sure I'm not saying the same thing. Do you know what I mean? If there's a call, or they do the little the short opportunity calls or something, sometimes I'll just say, I would love for you to just listen. I know you were thinking about it. I really just want your feedback. I get a lot of good success when I use lines like that with people. It takes the pressure off, I think, in their mind, where they're not thinking they have to call in and you're going to be hounding them, I really just want your opinion. I'd love for you to just check it out and tell me what you think. And sometimes then they're like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. And then I'll message them the next day if I don't hear from them, be like, hey, did you have a chance to check it out? And often they'll be like, yeah, it was pretty good. And then I can kind of find out what they're thinking at that point. So just find opportunities like that to be able to keep communicating with them. So. Anything else? Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. You hear the crickets? All right. Well, on that note, I won't keep you all night. This is recorded, so I'll post it on the team page once I figure out how to do that, because I don't think I've done that yet. New adventures. So, all right. Have a good night.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.